We're live?
We are live.
Can I tell you something about this picture?
What?
One, Christian look like he's 70 years old and don't know where he is.
Yes.
And two, that dude in the left corner right there is not happy, but is clapping along so he don't get attacked by the AEW fan base in that corner. He is unhappy about Omega losing.
But the girl behind him don't even care. She's like, I showed up for this? This is what we showed up for?
Why you showing up for this musty-ass event? All these musty-ass people in Pittsburgh. I'm here at this shit.
I came here to see... Britt Baker.
Who did she come here to see?
Britt Baker, man. Britt Baker.
She ain't here to see no Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She ain't
Marcus,
never heard of it.
Marcus, it's
that
time for us.
That man brought her there.
It's time for us to start the show. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And once again, Lord Manny Hayes is on assignment doing things to make the product of DSPN better. So he will be back on Tuesday.
It's not true. He's drunk. He's drunk. He's drunk somewhere in the streets.
Marcus, I do not like to put other people what their assignments are, but yes, since you put it out there and open, when Manny is on assignment, it usually means that he's out there drinking someplace. So cheers to Manny. I hope you have a good time being drunk. He's probably going to pop up in the chat room. It's like, fuck you both.
I ain't drunk. Ain't going to spell everything wrong, and I'm going to correct every spelling error he got. He drunk.
Or Marcus,
he out the streets. You know what? I'm passing blessings to Manny. Blessings. God take care of him tonight.
Or Marcus, or change people thumbnails. You know, like, he's going to change my thumbnails. Like, nobody's going to click on Christian Cage being an Impact champion because nobody watches Impact. What kind of shit is this?
Eric, you still kept it consistent with Manny in the thumbnails because you included some TNA.
I did, Marcus.
Look at that clever rules. Look at that.
Hey, Marcus, and we can even say that Lord Manny will probably go on a rampage of the thumbnail and this show. You know.
I bet you it's going to be dynamite.
Huh? Or he might just lay up the Smackdown on whatever happens on this show.
All I know, he likes it raw.
Now it's on to the NXT as we talk about more things in the world of professional wrestling, Marcus.
I don't know how you were going to incorporate them. I thought they were done.
Marcus, I thought they were done too. It doesn't really, it doesn't work, but for what we were trying to do right there, it was good enough. Marcus, are you excited? We are 1 week away from being in a hub of COVID-19 to celebrate and come together for SummerSlam in the Allegiant Stadium. Are you excited for this, Marcus?
I'm going to say this. I am happy to be in attendance along with you and the Delta variant. We're going to figure out how tough this variant really is as we are vaccinated, but you know what? It may not work anyway. So let's see what happens here at the SummerSlams of SummerSlams.
Yep, you know,
in Las Vegas.
You know, it's funny. It'd be funny if
find me on the crap table in the middle of some matches.
You know, the crap table after we eat at Bobby Flay might be where we'll be at. You know, at the crap table because everybody's close right then and there. So, Marcus, I guess we should dive right into this, Marcus. I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I'm going to start off with AEW, and we're not even talking about Dynamite.
Wait. We're going to start with Rampage and go work ourselves backwards?
Marcus, we have to talk about the new. And plus, it was only like a 30-minute show. It's not much to talk about. They had
it's plenty. I got plenty to talk about.
Yes, Marcus, but I think we need to dive in a little bit more on SmackDown. So I want to get AEW Rampage out the way, Marcus. AEW Rampage started off with a Impact Championship match. It was Christian Cage going against Kenny Omega, which could be said was a preview to the AEW Championship match because now Christian Cage is the number one contender in AEW. Overall, Marcus, what did you feel about the match that was the very first match of Rampage?
I thought that, it was high energy from the crowd as always. The AEW fan base put their heart and soul into every single moment of this show, even when it's someone else's belt. And I thought it was an entertaining match. I thought it was a really good match. Took way too many V-triggers to kill, I thought, Christian, but Christian showed out on top. He had a game plan, and the Young Bucks cost Kenny the title by putting the chair in the ring. Kenny didn't need to cheat to beat no damn Christian.
Well, for me, when I went into this match, I knew right then and there, I was like, oh, Christian Cage is winning this match. I was like, because it makes so much more sense because at the end of the day, Marcus, AEW doesn't want anybody on the Impact roster to defeat Kenny Omega. It's simple as that. You can't have anybody on Impact defeat your crown jewel, your champion. However, throwing Christian to the wolves, being the one to lose the Impact title back to an Impact wrestler, who cares about Christian? And on top of that, Christian has history. I felt that Christian, in my opinion, during the TNA Impact days, was one of the better champions. That was like the peak of Christian's performance as a professional wrestler. Overall, I really did enjoy the match. I thought the ending was a cop-out to protect Kenny, because once again, we can't have Kenny lose to Christian Cage. I thought the Young Bucks taking a slow, secretive pace down to the ring to slip Kenny the chair when, I can't remember his name, was distracting Brian Hebner.
Don
Callis with the pink boa, and I was like, this man just needs to turn around. I thought the Christian Impaler, I don't know what he calls it now. What is that? What is
kill switch?
The kill switch.
The kill switch
onto the steel chair looked like it could have fucked up Kenny's neck. Looked like Kenny was a little out of it, but overall, I thought it was a fun match. I mean, the worst thing.
The hell out of that chair. Oh, go ahead.
The worst thing about it though was like I was annoyed with Chris Jericho, which means I don't like the 4-man booth. I need you to get rid of Jericho. I thought Taz was fine. I thought the racist Excalibur was fine, and I even thought
racist.
Even though Mark Henry stumbled over words here and there, I thought he was fine. He sounded like he had marbles in his mouth. Me and him had a kindred spirit. Marcus, do you think it was a smart move for AEW for their debut and show the first title change is for another company? You think that was something that was good?
Because it means nothing. It's a main event technically match, but it's for the Impact title, which is technically means nothing. That's like losing the Intercontinental title. But it has no worth or value to that title. So I thought it was fine. I thought it was a way to get the ball rolling here. And I have to agree with you that I didn't hate the 4-person booth as much as I thought I would, maybe because I had such low expectations. But you're right. Chris Jericho, he gonna hit him with a chair. He hit him with a chair. He just yelling stuff. Man, shut your ass up.
Well, because like for me, when I'm listening to Jericho do commentary, I feel like he's more trying to get himself over more than he is getting the talent. It's like he's making it about himself. And for me, that frustrates me because I think you're taking away from the performers inside of the ring.
I couldn't tell if he was a heel or a face on commentary.
Marcus,
he was going back and forth between Twitter. I mean, I guess Pat McAfee does the same thing, but it don't. I was confused.
Well, Marcus,
I was confused on his yelling.
I think there's a complete difference between Pat McAfee and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is actually an actual participant on the roster. He's having matches. He actually has a faction. Well, at least I thought he did. I'm not really sure what his faction is now after Sammy Guevara got his friend a contract, and that's his new best friend in the whole wide world. But Pat McAfee, he's just a fan. He likes some people. He dislikes others. It makes sense to me. Jericho, I don't really get what he brings to the table. But overall, I thought that this match really was a good standard to what was going on. And this is what I felt Dynamite could be for me. It was very understandable what was going on in that match. It was too many V-triggers. I agree with you. I hate the V-trigger. I think it's oversaturated. I think it might be worse than the super kick right now when Kenny Omega's in the ring.
I feel he does too many, but overall, they brought out all the old tricks. Christian looked like he was 4 years younger, maybe 7 years younger, having the time of his life doing frog splash and stuff. He was diving. I just thought, they both delivered a really solid match. And it's the only Christian match since he came out of retirement that I was like, there we go. That's a pretty good one right there. And I think Kenny brought it out of him.
And I can say...
Do I want this match again at All Out? Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
But I can say I also like that we all know that it was a big match for, because I do love after a champion wins a title, I like the post-match interview. I really enjoy that. And I thought Mark Henry getting there asking Christian the hard-cutting questions was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, the celebration with Jericho's a little bit of the bubbly and everything. I thought it felt nice. It felt like a good show. This had very Saturday Night Main Event feel, though.
Marcus,
when they won, they had the big moment in the beginning, and then you just go to the rest of the show.
Are you going to agree with Wes Marcus with what he says right here?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm agreeing with nobody if I don't see his comment first, man.
Marcus, we're living in a world in 2021 where both Christian and Tamina are 2 belt champions. Marcus, this is what COVID has done to us. Christian and Tamina are champions.
Respect to both of these people. But, I'm okay with Christian being a champion. Tamina, I don't understand why she can't be stripped of her title duties due to Natty being gone.
So, God's favorite champion had to defend his AEW TNT championship. And going forward, Marcus, would you like to see the TNT championship be the championship that is defended on Rampage? Because I kind of like that.
Well, it's the TNT championship. It should be defended on TNT because they no drama. Whether it's Dynamite or Rampage, I honestly don't care. But I, again, love me some TNT champions. I may bitch and moan about it every now and then, but Miro's the truth, man. A serious Miro is a dangerous man to mess with. I'm so glad he's done with the shit he was doing earlier, and we get this version of the Bulgarian Brute with the entrance music and everything. And I even like that he's the redeemer, that he goes out there and you beat him, you get an AEW contract. Although it was null and void after TK got to this match. My favorite moment of the match, though, Tornado DDT number 2.
Well, Marcus, my favorite point of the match was Tornado DDT number 1. Like the fact Fuego del Sol is supposed to be the good guy, but he tried to jump the bell. And then the announcers said that Shorty Lee Johnson came up with the weakness for Miro of the Tornado DDT. And clearly, he's a super boss, and his weakness is Tornado DDTs. But it wasn't that successful for Fuego del Sol. I was like, I'm glad he didn't get the contract. Afterwards, it made me sick, Marcus. It's made me spit on AEW because what's the point?
Spit?
Yeah, but what's the point of having stipulations if the stipulations don't matter? Because let's say, for example, if Fuego del Sol truly did have the weakness of the Tornado DDT and he would have defeated Miro, TK wouldn't came out and reversed that decision and took the title back away from Fuego del Sol. He would have got the contract and got the title. So technically, Miro's title was on the line, and Fuego del Sol's livelihood was on the line. Miro took his livelihood away, and I felt it should have stayed that way.
There need to be consequences.
There needs to be consequences.
As Sammy Guevara walked to the ring with the contract, Fuego, you are 1-51 or some bullshit record like that. He shouldn't get that title match. He had nothing to lose in this match. I mean, he could lose the respect at his job, but he had nothing to lose when they came out and gave him the contract anyway. I guess, I don't know if people liked the moment. I didn't really like it because I was like, the dude's been wrestling in their company for about a year on Dark. I see his name all the time on Dark or Elevation. I'm like, what do I care if he get a contract? This isn't a Drake Maverick situation where he was fired. And you know he was fired. Once you get fired by WWE, you never come back. You don't come back from that shit. Or Cedric Alexander in the Cruiserweight Classic. I had no emotional attachment to Fuego del Sol. I didn't care if he was happy. I don't care if he's Sammy's friend. How am I supposed to... I have all this data that they're throwing at me. And then I had to look at Kike, who looked like he don't bathe on the Friday nights.
I mean, for me, Bart, I think you're 100% correct in this situation. I mean, unless we watch AEW Dark, which we don't, by the way, you don't know who Fuego del Sol is. We don't know who Fuego del Sol is or even why he's getting this opportunity, to be quite honest. He never has any matches on Dynamite. So, like, you didn't even give me a package about what he's done because he always loses. So, it was like, I don't care if he gets a contract.
And, I wish they would have built this Miro thing up of fighting for a contract if you beat him. And I thought, let it go longer. And then maybe one person out there, this guy get the contract. Not the first. Let's have consequences.
Or maybe even the concept of you have Sammy giving Fuego del Sol some pep talks, like, so we could have a connection. Like, if it wasn't for the announcers telling us, oh, Sammy Guevara and Fuego del Sol are friends, I thought Sammy was going out there to attack him. You never know what was going on. Marcus Wesley is he says, about 2 years ago, Bobby and Miro were in crazy stories together, but now they're both champs. Should we congratulate them or the writers? Marcus, who do you congratulate, Bobby or Miro or the writers?
I congratulate both of them for getting out their situations. Where's that Manny guy? Drunk!
Yeah, we answered that at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah, we answered it. You're on the streets. Proud through the streets. Roman should do the women.
Rampaging.
But I think both men can be committed that they both changed their character. Bobby is just being who we always thought Bobby should have been in his entire career. And same can be said about Miro too, that he ain't doing these joke or best man storylines or being a clown and whatever he's in the situation, jumping out of cakes or whatever he's doing. And it's like Rusev Day. So it's a new day for both of them. And you know what? Shout out to both of them for getting their life together.
I was saying that Bobby was always who we thought Bobby should be. And I think Bobby made that decision, which is perfectly fine. I mean, he finally decided he was going to be a monster and whatnot. I think Miro, he's being who we wanted him to be. I just think that it's one of those things where it took him a lot longer to get to this point than we wanted him to. I remember when he came into AEW, I was like, this best man thing being with Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford is bad for him. And I really felt that it really lowered the value of Miro. But luckily he found Jesus, and Jesus told him that he is God's favorite son, and now everything is prosperous. Marcus, to piggyback on the question that you said that, everybody who's a TNT champion is Dynamite in your opinion, like you really like him. Marcus, was Darby Allin your least favorite TNT champion?
No, of course not. You know who I'm going to say. It's
Cody?
your boy. It's your boy Cody.
Cody?
He did nothing there. He had the ugliest belt. He did nothing with that title. He didn't change at all. It seemed like everybody else that got the title kind of changed a little bit. Brody stopped being kind of that Mr. McMahon joke kind of character. Miro stopped being this clown who plays video games. People step up the game. Darby was you try to take him a little bit more serious. He had more matches, and he became more of a serious, I guess, wrestler instead of a stunt man who falls through shit. Even though he did some of that shit with that. So, it goes to Cody as being the worst TNT champion of all time. Congratulations, Cody.
So Marcus, I can't remember correctly. Sting and Darby Allin was shown. Are they having a tag match on Dynamite, or is it going to be on Rampage next week?
That's Dynamite.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure. So
how do you feel about that?
What? Sting
versus Everrise. Why is Sting coming out of retirement to fight Everrise?
Marcus, let me tell you this right now. 2.0 has been on 3 consecutive weeks of Dynamite. They've been on Dynamite more than Fuego del Sol, and I can still care less about them, Marcus. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, if they keep doing stuff like that, they will never reach 1 million again. Because this week they dipped under, man. 989,000, man.
They lost some views, man. They spending too much money to be losing these views. Like each segment seems expensive. Lap off 7 fight. If I hear on Tuesday, I am the Messiah.
Marcus, he's on his 7th pint already. Oh, Manny. So, before the match between Britt Baker and Red Velvet, we had a backstage interview with Mark Henry where it seemed like Mark Henry was forgetting some of his questions, but the women made their last fighting case before the match. Marcus, did you like this little bit additive to it before the match where they speak with the champion and the challenger?
I wish it said earlier today because before I'm about to have the biggest match of my life, let me be by myself. Don't fuck with me. I gotta fuck somebody up. I'm in fight mode. Like Brock Lesnar when he in fight mode. You leave me alone. Leave me the hell alone. That's what my only problem with it was. Other than that, it was nice. It did seem like it made the segment a bigger deal, but I didn't honestly care either way.
All right.
Red Velvet wasn't walking out there their champion anytime soon. And I never believed it 1 second in the match.
This ain't WWE. You don't lose in your hometown. As simple as that. I thought the crowd was very behind Britt Baker. Although I felt the match was sloppy at points, I thought they told a good enough story, and I thought that's what they did really well on Rampage, that they told stories, that they were actually having real wrestling matches. It wasn't as much of a spot fest as Dynamite normally does. I felt that they took their time with some of these matches. The thing that really, I think, bothered me was the fact that when Hayter returned, like, I know they wanted it to feel like a big deal, but I barely remember Jamie Hayter. I barely remember anything about her.
You remember her? Wait, you remember her, period?
Through the very early infancy, I believe she was like one of those women that was there with AEW. I thought, I don't know. At first, Mark, I'm gonna be honest. Can I be real? Let me
be real.
I thought that shit was Camille for a second. I didn't know who it was. I was like, who's this talk? I didn't know who she was. And then the announcer was like, oh my God, it's Jamie Hayter. I'm like, huh? Is that?
Every time the announcer does, oh my God, it's. I go, how you know?
Yeah, how you know?
How you know? Who gave me this information? Oh my God, it's. And I always go, it's mostly a scalper who has the answer to, oh my God, it's. And I go like, I have no idea who you are. Bless you that you attack somebody. And I didn't understand my whole thing. I didn't understand the story of. I don't know if Britt Baker's a face or a heel. Or it seemed like the crowd was a little off-putting. Like, wait, why is she acting like this? Why is she double tapping Velvet after the match? Or why is she need help to fight these other people? Like, I was like, I'm confused on where we're at right now.
I was confused to the point of why did Britt Baker need more help outside of Rebel? Like, that's where I was like, I mean, she's the champion, so technically she's doing all right. So why do we need somebody else here? I think it's just one of those things to get her back, Jamie Hayter back on TV. I'm assuming. It's like it was one of those things where I don't really need it. Red Velvet was clearly the heel when she tried to take off the wrist brace and stuff of that nature. But
I don't know.
By any means necessary. Yeah, but overall, Marcus, I actually can say I enjoyed Rampage. It was nothing about it that I said, you know what? I walked away from it. I was like, that was a solid show.
It was a quick hour. You got a little bit of everything. Are they going to be able to deliver a show like this every week? I don't know. Let's see. But it was a real well put together show. They landed it in places where I was like, oh, okay, this is good. Even though I didn't care about the contract of Fuego del Sol, I thought it at least had like a little middle point of a side story. It was a nice squash for Miro. You know, I didn't care about him getting the contract or not. And then the main event, I honestly didn't care about, but it was pushed through with entertainment. I can't wait till next week where Phil makes his debut.
Well, we'll see what that happens. I mean, the interesting thing about the whole dynamic, if you're on the East Coast, SmackDown leads into Rampage. If you're on the West Coast, Rampage leads into to SmackDown. So
no, it's the same thing.
What do you mean?
It would be the same thing if they're both coming. Because if you're doing West Coast side, Dynamite comes or Rampage comes on at 10 p.m.
Yeah, but for whatever reason,
if you got East Coast side, it's 7 p.m.
On my DirecTV, it shows at 7 o'clock, so it leads into SmackDown, which comes on at 8 o'clock on Channel 11. So it does. Mark, we're splitting hairs, man. We're circumcising mosquitoes at this point, Marcus. You look like
circumcise them.
Mark, you look like you're about to fall asleep, so I need to wake you up.
No,
Marcus.
I don't.
So in our pre-production meeting, Marcus told me he's about to have the wrestling fan base turn against him. And it was regards to Friday Night Smackdown, Marcus. Friday Night Smackdown started off with 30 minutes was dedicated to Roman Reigns, the head of the table, and John Cena to a very hot Oklahoma crowd in Tulsa. Marcus, what did you enjoy about the opening segment? What did you dislike about the opening segment?
Well, guys, I'm about to denounce myself from the wrestling community, and I'm about to get canceled once and for all. And I don't care how many subscribers we lose right now, Eric. It ain't on me. It on me. It's about the platform that allowed me to say this. All right? So it's on you people who did this to me. I'm going to say this right now. Hot take of hot takes. This 30 minutes of John Cena and Roman Reigns cutting promos on each other better than anything Christian Cage and Kenny Omega did in that ring. Period. Better than any wrestling match I saw this week. Those two people just talking. Those two titans talking in the ring in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I thought was the best part of wrestling this week. Because I thought that was a war of words. I thought that was building up to the main event. I was like, this is it. This is it. They both delivered. Roman being an ass. John Cena talking about how he gonna beat him with the 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. You baby is ABC. You know, dick jokes aside, missionary jokes aside, I was hyped. I was like, they gonna kick each other's ass. And he's gonna smash him, he gonna thrash him, but at the end of the day, John Cena made me believe that he was gonna be the Universal Champion at SummerSlam, even though he ain't gonna beat the tribal team, the head of the table.
You had nothing else.
I can't think of his third.
So Marcus, because you're my brother,
champion.
Marcus, you're my brother, and I don't want you to walk down that road alone, my brother. I'm going to double down with you, Marcus. I will point out, outside of you guys talking about Barefoot Charlotte on the Tuesday episode of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, which is on Tuesday and Thursdays on our YouTube network, and now in the audio feed for those who subscribe in iTunes or whoever is your podcaster of choice. Marcus, outside of you talking about Barefoot Charlotte, this segment on Friday Night Smackdown, hands down, was my favorite segment of all of wrestling this week. And it was like one of those things where we were talking about two titans in the middle of the ring cutting a promo on each other. To the fact that when John Cena came out there, he said what he needed to say. And then Roman Reigns not only took a commercial break to get into the ring, when he came back from the commercial break, that's when he was finally walking into the ring. And he talked less and listened more. And the words that he said to Cena were very poignant, on point, and was supposed to cut John Cena deep. And you know what? The Nickabella line was really good. It got me. Nikki Bella line. It got me, man. It made me go like I was sure. Oh snaps! I can't believe he said that. You know, like it was one of those moments that, oh shit, they going real at this point.
But you know that counterpunch.
Oh, the counterpoints. When he said that you had a protective shield over you, that you almost ruined Seth Rollins' career, you made Dean Ambrose run off. I was like, oh shit. These fools are throwing hot grease on each other. Like, so technically, what happened is Roman Reigns threw hot grits on John Cena, and John Cena retaliated with some hot grease. It was like,
with rice in it.
Yeah, with rice in it, you know.
On it, and it burns your skin a little good. But I just thought it was a battle of words, and I couldn't decide who actually won at the end of the day of these words. Because Roman took nothing John said. He was like, you doing the same shit. Look at you. Look at you. You ain't a man. And John Cena was like, I am doing the same shit. And I don't give a fuck. I'm going to beat your ass.
My favorite line, though, is
like, brought it.
My favorite line is just when you talk shit about somebody else that's not even in the ring. You know, you may be able to beat the WWE champion, but you ain't
check out this gun right.
You ain't gonna do shit to me. And I was like, you know what?
On me. You better bring that black motherfucker over there.
That like, you know, Bobby, I'm not gonna even say his name. You can whoop his ass. But you ain't gonna beat my ass. But then the thing about it is that
say his name, but Bobby gotta go on Raw to start Raw right there. I don't give a fuck who I'm fighting. I don't care about Goldberg right now. I need to tell Roman Reigns and John Cena they need to keep my name out their motherfucking mouth. All right, keep their business on Friday. They don't want these Monday night problems.
Yeah, but so then, like, for me, Like, I feel like you're right. Bobby needs to address the Universal Champion taking a shot. He don't even have to say his name. Like, they just need to, like, take shots at each other. But then John Cena's strategy for the match is, I'm going to get my ass beat. I always get my ass beat. But guess what? I'm resilient. And all I have to do is beat you 1, 2, 3. Marcus, I don't know
that Hulk Hogan strategy.
I don't know if it was just catchy what he said or what, but the crowd got behind it. They started counting. I don't know if people like to count, but this is what
Eric. It's wrestling. They love to count. You know it. They count down. They count up. They count to the side.
You're right.
They count punches and turnbuckles. Pro wrestling. They let people know that they may not can read, but they can count. 1, 2, 3. Keep that shit simple.
I mean, the people who are in the chat room, people who might watch this video afterwards, please go down to the comments and let us know, what did you guys think about the opening segment of SmackDown? Did you really like the promo joust of words between Roman and John Cena? For me, I thought that this might have been on the wrong weekend. I thought this should have happened the day before in Phoenix, Arizona, this promo, because it got me hyped for this match between Roman Reigns and John Cena. I was ecstatic afterwards, Marcus. And then directly following that, WWE did something else. They gave us a match that was a really good match between Nakamura and Apollo Crews. And they gave me an outcome that was necessary, but also I did not expect it to happen. Marcus, did you see Apollo Crews dropping this title? Now, since he dropped the title, also, does he drop the accent?
I believe he needs to drop the accent before he dropped that title, but yes. His title run was going nowhere once Big E left the feud, and once that feud got stale, this run needed to end a long time ago. I'm happy for Boogs and Nakamura for winning this title. And I knew Apollo was losing. When he was looking at that title, he kissed it. And he had this look when he had to the referee, I ain't never seen this gold again. And they had a solid match. It wasn't anything I thought was special today, but I was happy for Nakamura, who got the end of WrestleMania celebration for his title win. Like, this fool just won the Rumble. Like, he ain't never won nothing in his life. He got pyro, full reaction, Boogs on guitar, with McAfee on air guitar. I mean, it was a spectacular victory. Like, I ain't never seen... Like, I wish Christian's victory looked as spectacular as Nakamura's. Because... And I'm not taking anything away from Christian. It was a good win and everything. And I'm not saying that was a better match. I'm just saying that celebration Nakamura had seemed like he done beat Roman Reigns. He done beat Kenny Omega. He done beat whoever else is the champion out there in the world. Okada, Tanahashi, or Jay White, whoever in New Japan. That's what it looked like Nakamura was celebrating. I don't know what planet he was on.
So, Marcus, Josh commented on the thing. He says Reigns is greater than Cena. However, he is not a Reigns fan, Marcus. I would agree.
Even New Generation Reigns?
Huh?
Even New Generation Reigns?
Marcus, people, remember, Marcus, as John Cena said, the E put a shield around him to make him digestible. Many people didn't want to deal with that in their life. I mean, what can you say, Marcus? What more can you say at that point?
At the end of the day, Cena, I feel Cena is greater than Reigns all time. But Reigns right now is doing the best work that anybody's doing in wrestling. Whether it's in the ring or on that microphone, he's doing the best character work. Because he only does looks. He only got to look at you. And you go like, this motherfucker right here.
No, I mean, it's true. But Marcus, as you said, that I'm going to put it on the screen right now because you're correct. This celebration right here, that was a legendary celebration right there. Like, Nakamura lives and breathes in that Intercontinental Championship range no matter what company he's in. Whether it's New Japan, whether it's WWE. He is that Intercontinental Champion. And I would like to give kudos. And I know many people don't give kudos to WWE. I thought they did a very, very good job of rebuilding Nakamura into something more relevant. Because at the end of the day,
his career.
Because Marcus, you remember, I thought they were fattening Nakamura up to be fed to the Tribal Chief, but apparently they wanted him to be the new Intercontinental Champion. And I also kind of feel like a feud between Nakamura and Apollo Crews could be something that could be interesting going forward.
I got nothing out of that. I got nothing with Apollo and Aziz. I'm already over everything they're about.
So Marcus,
I'm already over that life.
Can I ask a question then? Are you releasing Aziz and Apollo since WWE is releasing a lot of people? Oh, you a cold man.
I thought Nakamura would be on that shopping block, man. Nakamura would be on that shopping block anytime, man. I think Boogs could say, but Boogs saved his life and career. He would have been the next. How could they release Shinsuke Nakamura? How could they do that to him? They never gave him a chance. But then, Nakamura, he seems to be happy where he's at.
So, Marcus, are you happy that the Street Profits are back and they want that smoke in the smoke season? And when they went against the Alpha Academy, my favorite story that I read this week is that when Vince looked at Bronson Reed, he says, how is he supposed to be a big man when he's so small? And that's why he let him go. And to the point where he's also trying to push Otis down our throat.
What do you believe? What do you stand on Vince's new belief in wrestling? That I am sick of these old motherfuckers. I'm sick of these short motherfuckers. I'm sick of these fat motherfuckers. I need new stars, damn it. You give me blockbusters again. I'm Hunter and people throwing Hunter under the bus and saying he's the reason AEW lost to NXT and Vince never wanted NXT to be just a bunch of little guys. And I quote someone else who used the term midget, not myself. He's tired of this shit. Where's my Batistas at? Where's my Cena's at? Where's my Rocks at? Where's my Brock Lesnar's?
Marcus,
what are you producing down there, baby?
Marcus, let me tell you something right now. And you know how you said that the wrestling delegation was going to revoke your card and send you down to a thing, Marcus? Me and my brother, Raphael, from the Mid-Card Match and everything, we've been saying this for a long time. The wrestlers at NXT are just too small. He said, and I quote, this is why I can't watch NXT. When I look at everybody on their roster and I feel like I can whoop their ass. And that's what it feels like. Like, Marcus, I feel like your skit when you went through AEW's locker room and you whooped everybody's ass, it's just like I could do the same thing. And I really come down to the point that, like, yes, I get people like Darby Allin, like, wrestlers like Darby Allin. People can be fans of that and all that. But you're not going to make the same type of money if you're not creating titans. People like monsters. People like things that are not their self, at least in my opinion. And if you're trying to attract the casual fan, you need to have the je ne sais quoi of the quality of wrestling. You need to have that Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones will go a longer way than, let's say, a Roderick Strong.
Well, to quote a wise man, and I can't remember who this wise man was, there are a million singers out there who can sing their ass off. But it's only the special ones who become famous. They don't even have to be able to get sings. Whether you're Britney Spears to Rihanna.
To Beyonce.
You don't have to have the best.
I said it.
Beyonce, you ain't got to have the best voice in the world. You just got to have something to you. You got to have that it factor. And that's what Mr. Bentley, he ain't looking for good musicians. He's looking for box office musicians, all right? He's looking to sell out stadiums. I don't care if 90% of people don't care about Cardi B's music. That is a personality of epic proportion that you cannot deny her famousnicity out there.
Famousnicity, okay. But Mark, so let me ask you this question though, Marcus. So I know you are a real big fan of Adam Cole. I know you like Adam Cole. But Marcus, if you were Vince McMahon, would you have given him that reported $1 million? Like, is that a person that you throw $1 million into?
So the reason I would give Adam Cole the money, Eric, is to appease some wrestling fans. To say, it's not all bad here. And I don't know if they gave him the money or not. It seemed like they did. Considering they released a bunch of people, it seemed like we got to pay for Adam Cole. I don't need Bronson Reed. I got to pay for Adam Cole. So I think I would have did it just for what it looks like on the papers, considering all the negative news we've been putting out lately. I feel like I have to side him because we released everybody. Your Bray Wyatts, your Braun Strowmans. We offended everybody in this so-called WWE universe in our releases. We got to bring somebody back. So that's what I feel the Adam Cole signing is. We can't let everybody go.
All right, so Marcus, JK, wrong comment. JK Switch said, would size matter if we just got a good storyline with people? Grimes and LA Knight aren't huge, but we care about their characters. I agree. I think it's a very fine line. I think for me, when I say that the whole size matters, for me, I'm thinking as for a business sense, trying to move the company and make it successful for them. As a wrestling fan, I could care less about what size you are, to be quite frank. I mean, I think that you can have your Adam Coles and things like that, but I think the numbers show, like, Shawn Michaels, who might be arguably one of the greatest champions in WWE history, is also one of the smaller champions, and when he was champion, that's when WCW really took over. And they took over because they had the Titans. They had the Kevin Nashes, the Scott Halls, and all those things. And it's a very interesting thing. And then he makes another valid point. Daniel Bryan and Punk aren't huge, but they had two of the biggest moments in the past 10 years. That is also there are anomalies. I get it. Mark, go ahead.
And back to that comment, there are some people who, you can go with the larger in life, but you need personality. You need personality. Randy Savage wasn't the biggest dude. I mean, he was huge with muscles and stuff, but he wasn't the tallest guy in the world. I think a lot of it has to do with personality and character and charisma. Like, if you have charisma, it can go, oh, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk has charisma. They can talk themselves into being the biggest guy in the room. When back in the day, when Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor, I thought this dude would never make it into WWE if he ever tried. And he was my favorite wrestler. That was me going. And when he did, and then he got through, it was just like, oh, this guy has it. And then you see AJ Styles, who isn't the biggest dog in the yard, but he has charisma to him, and that he carries himself well. And it goes hand in hand. You can be a small wrestler, do all the flips and stuff, but if you don't have charisma, there's no reason I should keep you. Like, I like Roderick Strong, but Roderick Strong is a charisma void. Ricochet, charisma void. His best career moment was when he was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground when he didn't say shit. He just wore a mask and let Conan do all the talking until Conan turned on him.
So, Mark, okay.
So that's where we're at with that. And, and I believe Vince isn't looking for, I know people may say CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are these huge stars, but they're not blockbusters. They're not mega stars. Vince is in the, I want a mega star business. I need the next movie star. If you look at the movie, if you go to the movie, the box office right now, who's in front of all the movies? All his former wrestlers, whether it's The Rock and Jungle Cruise, John Cena, and you got Batista in whatever the hell Batista could be in. Whether it's commercials or Guardians of the Galaxy or a Blade Runner or something, those are movie stars. And that's what Vince is looking for, the next movie star that could be a part of his show. And I don't see Daniel Bryan and CM Punk being movie stars.
So, Marcus, I'm going to agree with Josh in the comments. He says, I'm an Adam Cole fan. I secretly hope he walks to AEW. I just want to see the Bucks resurrect Adam Cole so we can get Cole versus Omega. For me, Marcus, what I agree about the statement is that I hate that WWE gave him the bag. I think Adam Cole is more better suited for the AEW product based on the size of their roster. I also think that Adam Cole is the type of person who can put butts in seats because he has that it factor when he cuts a promo. He makes it very believable. My only issue is that if I call Adam Cole up to the main roster, I don't believe that he has a chance against a Bobby Lashley or against a Roman Reigns. I just don't see it. It doesn't compute to my head. I mean, because even
AEW.
Hold on, because even when we go to the main event and we had the standoff between
don't give me the head.
We had the standoff between we had the setup between Christian Cage and Omega. It was weird seeing how much taller Christian Cage was to Omega. So it's
But can I argue that Adam Cole doesn't move the needle to me going to AEW?
Why?
It doesn't excite because he'd just be another guy there. They already have a bunch of these guys. They already have a bunch of Adam Cole. I know Adam Cole is charismatic and is great in the ring, but we have like several of those guys. They need variety. Bringing in Adam Cole would just be bringing in another guy to me.
Yeah, but doesn't he fit their system better than he fits the WWE system?
Like, I think he stands out more in WWE than he does in AEW.
Like, because I feel like AEW could also benefit from somebody like a Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed really fixes, like, they don't have any big fat guys or fat muscle guys at AEW. Like, who do you got? Who you got? Nobody. Like you said, everybody looks the same in AEW, and they need a little bit more variety. And the same thing can be said that in WWE. WWE has always had that problem of that they always want the big titans to be their main events, and then the smaller wrestlers fill out the mid card. And I think that's the way that they do it. And I don't know which way is the right way, but
I tell you this: my perfect wrestling roster would look like a restaurant menu in which I have some appetizers, I have some entrees, and then you get your desserts. Desserts are just random entertainment, like an R-Truth or some random shit. And there, when you just go, that was nice. Or Cameron Grimes or something. And then you got your entrees, which are your John Cena's or your Hogan's or whatever. The people who are just like, these are your main eventers. These are your stars.
So, Marcus, I have a question.
Romans.
Marcus, is this an appetizer or an entree? What is that, Marcus?
Oh man, I think he's an appetizer posing as an entree.
Really?
But you know what? I think that you can order him and still be satisfied about your meal. He's like a corny asada nacho, in which they're gonna give you way too much
corny asada
nacho. Yeah. And so, they're going to give you some. I ate it probably last night. Don't worry about it. Mind your fucking business.
Okay.
So, they give you way too much asada and nacho, but it does the job. It fills you up and you good for the night. That's what he is.
For the audio listeners,
chicken wings.
For the audio listeners, what I have up on the screen on the video is a picture of Seth Rollins and what I consider one of his most fire outfits that he has. This is Drip Rollins at his best. And I asked Marcus, did he think he was appetizer or the entrees? You heard that. I think he's a main, Marcus. I think he's a main course when you want him to be a main course. He's an appetizer that can be elevated when the main course that doesn't hit the spot. Like, you know what? When someone burnt your steak, but you're still happy, you had that nice little fish dish before you had that steak dish. I mean,
you do that cackle laugh.
I think that, like, you can arguably say that Edge versus Seth, although their feud is really not about anything, that they made it about, Seth not destroying Edge when he had the chance. I mean, because technically Seth did destroy Edge because Edge was never supposed to be medically cleared to come back. However, now we're having this feud, and like this is a very good pre-match before you get to the main events, right? I would agree with that. I thought what Seth did was fine.
I got SummerSlam being a really good card with some decent stories in there, even though Bianca and Sasha hasn't had as much time as everybody else has had to deliver this story. I think a good old-fashioned revenge story of Sasha strikes back like she's the Empire who got reinforcements is a good story. As well, I think this long-term storytelling that Vince McMahon lucked himself into with the return of Edge and Seth is a good story. And it's Roman and John Cena. You got a really good top of the card right there of SummerSlam. Like, those are some storylines that you are invested in because it actually has some time in it. They actually have some spacing. And, the post outlook of what Finn got to do in the middle of this after he comes back. And like,
I was really upset about Finn not being there, Marcus. And then let me point out, did you see Finn's tweet when he posted a picture with him and Tomo Tonga talking about moving silent, Marcus? Do you think that was just a play the internet crowd to think that maybe
they just haven't talked? They shoot the shit together. They ain't doing nothing together. Nick Khan ain't got no deals working. Nick Khan can do one thing and one thing only. That's fire your ass. Nick Khan ain't got no deals working.
Do you agree with J.K. Smush when he says, we don't have enough second-level stars? You need your Hogan, Austin, or Cena's, but where are my Savages, Triple H's, and Angles? Isn't that?
I agree with that.
I mean, yeah, I think for me, for a wrestling company to be successful, in my opinion, I think you need to have a stronger mid-card then you need to have main event players. I think you need maybe 4 at most main event players, but I think you need to have people who can fill the show. Without, as Marcus said earlier in his analogy about like, I need me a little bit of R-Truth, a little bit of this. You need to have a full course meal. You need to have you stuff that builds you up to the main event. And I know Vince was hard on Triple H for losing to AEW, but I think where you need to give Triple H credit is that he did something. The stars that he created are stars that people never thought was going to happen, and that's all the women and female performers that have been created. I think the true stars, like Sasha Banks, she's a star. She's small as hell, but she carries herself like she's a big dog. Bianca Belair, she's getting more comfortable. Barefoot Charlotte is unstoppable. Let's not forget about Asuka when she is actually booked in the right way. The women is what... Becky Lynch, the man. I think women is what's carrying WWE. That's the one thing that WWE has that I don't think AEW can touch yet. It's the women's division. Unfortunately, I don't know if WWE uses the women's division to their best of ability, but it is what it is for the most part.
Like you said, these second tier guys like your Savage Hunters and Angles, like I do think most companies need that. I feel like AEW is getting kind of top heavy with their latest amount of signs with Malachi Black, Andrade, and I don't know where they see them in their own card, but they all feel like they're main event guys who deserve, they need to run at the title. They need this. But hopefully they all get their stories. WWE's current roster, I feel like Vince does need to shake it up and like bring, a good mixture of people, because I feel like we do get a lot of the same people over and over. Like it's just the same group of people mixed in together, even though I did like the Street Profits and against the Alpha Academy, which is a non-tag team championship feud, and we didn't have the Usos on there, but we all know it's leading to Street Profits and Usos again. Well, that's pretty much where we're going.
So, Marcus, as I think the person said earlier, I think it was, I can go back to the comments. It doesn't matter. I think that the thing is, like he said, LA Knight and Cameron Grimes are having a good storyline. And I agree with that. And I think that's what wrestling needs more of. We need more things that invest into wrestlers who are not in the title picture. And that's the thing about it. When you go to AEW, I don't know what Andrade is doing with Death Triangle. It doesn't make any sense to me that we should really care about him trying to steal Pac's friends. Like, I don't know why that's a big deal to begin with. But for me, I want the story to write itself. I want Cameron Grimes to be the one who bails out Baron Corbin from his financial woes. I wish that those things could happen. Like he gets some investment from somebody. I mean, I want to see where they're going with this Baron Corbin thing because it interests me.
He show up on NXT anytime, man.
I mean, him stealing the money.
Raw trying to get work.
He did, Marcus. Him stealing the Money in the Bank contract afterwards was intriguing. I don't know, as Pat McAfee said, possession is 9/10 of the law. I don't know if that's truly true, but John Cena did get into the main event of SummerSlam by just writing his name on the contract. So who knows what a Baron Corbin might try to right the wrong he did when he didn't cash it in the right way.
Oh, back to this. What show do you got? You can all two people who are in our chat or whatever it is can join in on this. What show has the best roster? And I'm going to go with SmackDown. I think has the most unique set of characters.
I think SmackDown does.
I think everybody has a different personality, character, and whatnot. Even if you don't even like the Apollo, he's still different from anybody else. It's mostly just AJ and Omos, but it is different from everybody else. You got your Sammy, you got your Seth, KO. They're all kind of different and they clash. And I like to see them in different storylines. You got your Mysterios. I think SmackDown does have the best. It's the roster I like. Marcus, even though they have no contenders for Roman.
Marcus, I'm getting closer to it. They're going to give it to me, Marcus. Ray's going to hop on Dominic's back and Dominic's going to slam him down to the mat, Marcus. Marcus, when that happens, that's going to be my thumbnail because that's all I care about, Marcus. I'm tired of Ray. He keeps pointing out that Dominic lost. Ray ain't shit, man. He the worst daddy ever. Worse, Marcus.
He lost. Why don't you ever talk about when I win, Dad? Fuck you, Dad. I'm smashing you on this fucking ramp. You're dead to me. Do you want the father and son match? Do you really want this? The drama of that? I think everybody does, right?
I think, Mark, I think it's one of those matches that books itself. It's like, father versus son.
But I feel like they missed their opportunity, man. They fucked it up, man, with the Buddy Murphy and Aaliyah storyline. They fucked it up. I needed Dominic to go into Seth's arm and embrace the vision. Okay? No, I needed that to happen.
No, Marcus, I disagree. I think that they have success as a team with each other. They've been champions, and like literally, you have all these seeds where Ray is leading Dominic to hate his father. Simple as that. Like, he's always criticizing him. He's always chastising him about how he's not doing it right, how he is, the best and all. Like, it's a point where Dominic has to be a man and show his daddy, you know what? I'm better than you. And that's a story that I can get invested in. Like, that's something that I really enjoy. I mean, it's almost as good as the contract signing. One of my favorite contract signings because Sasha ain't shit. Sasha
ain't shit. No.
Under no circumstances did Sasha need to call in her ratchet ass friends Carmella and Zelina Vega. But at the same time, it gave Zelina Vega and Carmella relevance in this situation. Like, Bianca realized she went into a lion's den, and the only way that she could get out was that she had to fight. And unfortunately, she ended up like this, with her own braid in her mouth, with the maniacal Sasha Banks laughing in the back. Let me tell you something, Marcus. Is Sasha Banks the most evil individual and professional wrestler right now?
When it comes to being evil, no. I think Vince still has that title, Eric.
Wow.
Vince ain't even on TV. He's the most hated man in wrestling. Doesn't even matter. You released Bronson Reed? I fucking hate you, Vince. That's what he gets. He gets heat like that. But he also gets love whenever he shows up to the arena. So he gonna keep doing what he doing. I give Sasha a run, but I got Charlotte being more evil. Charlotte just tells you the truth. And you hate her. You hate her for it because she's a bitch. She's been that way.
Do you feel like Bianca's becoming more comfortable on the microphone in front of a live audience? Because I think she's getting better, but I still think there's a lot to go.
Yeah, I still think she has work. She's still, young in the business and young with large crowds. Like, her entire call-up has been pandemic, basically. And before then, NXT, which was like, 200 people? So she still has to work on it. I really hope Sasha and Carmella and Selena are a thing. I do too. I hope they get a faction name. Because if you're the boss, you got to have some clientele. All right? You got to have some associates. Or people that you can just fire at any moment. I don't know what they're called. But they her workers. And they can put the work in. They give you the work. Marcus, I think that would help you protect the boss. Hey,
Marcus, I don't need you to call them workers because at the end, then Sasha made a brothel. We don't need that to happen. We don't need them to be her working girls. But Marcus, you did point something out that you were
considering the way they were dressed.
But you did point something out, Marcus. You were disappointed with the contract signing for one simple reason, that a streak came to an end, Marcus.
Yep.
Please let the listeners just know before we move on to talk about Dynamite.
This is the first contract signing I've ever seen Sasha Banks in. Can you let me say the point? Can you let me get the point out what happened? This is the first contract signing with Sasha Banks in, just stamp. And just go like this. Do her funky ass stamp and be done with it instead of she signed it with a pen. Her hands actually did work. She can actually read and write. I'm upset that she just did stamp the contract. So that's where I was upset. I was upset.
So Marcus, we're not Mark. I think our comments have really sparked some discord because we got a dislike, Marcus. We got a dislike. So it happens, Marcus. You was right. You said when you said that promo was better than anything, people probably didn't like to hear that. But at the same time,
it's a lot of stuff.
So since we're on that whole dislike thing, Marcus, let's move on to Dynamite.
For the anti-wrestling community.
And Marcus,
we get this dislike tonight.
Marcus, I want to ask you a question. And
yes,
I did not get to listen to your show, but I know you guys talked about it on Thursday. We've been dealing with the labors of Jericho. And the fourth labor of Jericho was him facing Wardlow, and we thought at the beginning it was MJF was going to be the referee, but he was just on the side of the apron, and he ended up getting kicked out of his own match, Marcus, which led to Jericho defeating Wardlow in a very disappointing fashion. However, I think more disappointing was the announcement of what the fifth labor would be. The fact that Jericho, when he fights MJF, he will not be able to use the Judas effect, and he will not be able to come to the ring with the Judas song being played. Marcus, was this like just a big letdown to this whole thing?
I feel like, you set up all this and, the biggest labor was going to Nick Gage, a former meth addict and criminal coming off the street. Everything else was just wrestling matches. It wasn't as hard as he thought it'd be. Like, I thought, they would just get worse and worse. The Wardlow stipulations of you just got to fight Wardlow. Oh, as they announced previously, Cody whooped his ass already. And then the MJF stipulations, you just can't use the Judas effect, but you still have the walls of Jericho, or the Lionsault, or the Code Breaker, or whatever other move he has left, where you just hit somebody with a baseball bat. All in fair play. I just feel like that, he should have made it more of a challenge. I didn't understand all his labors to get to him. He should explain, like, it was these labors. You were supposed to get to me, man. All right, fuck it. That was the real plan. Because I know I could whoop your whole ass any day of the week or something. But he really sold that his labors were the shit. It was like watching M. Bowser in his castle. And all you had to do was run right under him.
Yeah, and hit the axe and then the bridge opens
that's
up.
It? Yeah, that's it? That's all I had to do? All right, so that's where I'm disappointed with the labors. But I thought it could be well done. I thought it should have been a retirement match as the fifth labor or something that got me more emotionally invested. But other than that, I didn't really care I don't care about these labors of Jericho.
Yeah, it's like, the thing is, you can't use your Judas effect, and if you lose, you have to retire from in-ring action in AEW. And I think that would have been a more momentous moment in AEW history, in my opinion. But they didn't do that. But something that AEW did do that I thought was very enjoyable was the very first opening match on Dynamite. That was Kenny the Elite going against the Seidel brothers and Dante Martin. Marcus, let me say, this was a very entertaining...
Why the hell is this match happening?
I don't know why this match was happening, but Marcus, why it was happening, I was like, I'm glad it happened. Dante Martin is a star. He is the Jeff Hardy of Top Flight. I still don't know what his brother name is. But this was a very fun match overall. I thought this was the good trio match of the trio matches that we got on Dynamite, because we got too many trio matches, but I really enjoyed that match. I thought it was a good showcase for Dante Martin, and maybe he can show up on Rampage and have a little bit more success. What about you?
So, as much as the match is good, I want more context. I want more to my story. These are the most dominant wrestlers in the world, the Elite. Am I wrong or am I right?
You're correct,
Secondly,
Marcus.
In AEW verse, they're the most dominant in the world. They're fighting these dudes that never win. None of them. A team of 3 losers. Yes, Dante Martin had a good showing. That's terrific on him. That's great. Him and Top Flight, still being relevant. He's athletic as hell. Great. But I think my world champion and my tag team champions need to eat these dudes alive. I don't think it needed to take all this. Yeah, you'd be like, it made it for a better match. Some matches don't need to be good. Sometimes you just need to whoop some ass. And I wanted to put some, ass whooping to their name or something. I don't know. I thought it should have just been boost the asses, to quote the Rock. And it just seemed to go on. I enjoyed the match. It's fine. Very athletic. Everybody's great. Terrific. Bravo. But context, I was like, they should have killed him. So how do I believe in Christian when Dante Martin kicked out the V-trigger? Like, Christian can do that?
So
Christian whoop his ass now.
Marcus, so there's one more thing I think I'm going to talk about on Dynamite, because I'm pretty sure you and Manny covered it thoroughly on
Dynamite. I want to tell you this. Dynamite wasn't shit but an opening segment. I wish they would use their champion at the end of shows instead of the beginning. Sometimes, because once he's out the way, there was nothing else in this show I cared about.
Marcus, calm down, man. Calm down. Marcus.
God damn.
Mark, I'm going to give you something truly to hate, because I think by far this was the worst thing that Dynamite did. And I feel like they had a lot more positive things. I thought the FTR package with Proud and Powerful, talking about they're going to try to get them. I thought that was good. I thought it was well produced. But however, Marcus, I am tired of the EVP Cody Rhodes trying to make us feel that QT Marshall is a thing. Tony Schiavone's son getting beat up. A grown-ass man getting beat up by QT Marshall.
Foley.
And his...
We didn't talk about this on our show.
And Marcus, to the point where he had to be saved by the Big Show. So you're trying to tell me that I might get a match of Paul White versus QT Marshall. Marcus, I don't need this in any part of my professional wrestling, Marcus. Tony Schiavone's son should have never been in there. And if he hasn't broken into the business now, he never will. He never will. Marcus, why are they trying to make QT Marshall a thing?
I don't know, man, but I despise this segment beyond despiser. And like you said, Dynamite probably wasn't a bad show this week, but there was things that just had bad taste in my mouth.
And let bad taste in your mouth.
Thing. Like the Big Show's music, and I'm calling him Big Show. I'm calling him what his daddy name. I'm calling him his. When he came out and his music, I was like, what is this trash song that's coming out? Why is he even walking his slow ass out here? They could have shot that man in the face. Beat his ass before Big Show got to the ring. He came out with full slow ass entrance, and then they had the nerve to have QT use Aaron Solo as a shield to get out of there when he could have left at any given point before Big Show came out there and whooped him. He could have had his cake and ice cream too, beating that 44-year-old man. Tony Schiavone's son fits in the vein of Brock Anderson, who I don't know why he was on my TV for that 1 week.
He ain't made it back.
He ain't made it back once. And I was like, why we get this? And for Tony just to be like, well, that was life. I went back and did my job, I think. I was like, what is this shit? I didn't need this. This was a waste of time. We had nothing else to do. And we're going to tease this Big Show QT Marshall match. Big Show been getting please retire chance since 2009. So please, people. I don't need this in 2021. Although, I feel like the AEW fan base will love this.
So, Marcus, we have hopped into onto our bicycle. And we're going to travel to NXT now. Marcus, Ember Moon, for whatever reason, I can only assume maybe COVID reasons or something like that, was removed from her number one contender match with Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai had to face the undefeated Shirai. Marcus, Shirai has not done... Shirai. Marcus, she might be my new Pete Dunne. I might not never get her name right. With that being said, she hasn't done anything really to...
Pete Dunne name right there.
Because it took me a while, though. Shirai has not really done anything to impress me.
You really put her in the hood. Sheree.
Sheree.
What's that black girl name? Oh, Sheree, right?
But she hasn't done anything to impress me. However, I thought this match was really good. Dakota Kai ended her undefeated streak. But I think my favorite moment of this match is when Raquel Gonzalez waited to the end of the match to chase Dakota Kai. And Dakota Kai got out there. She was quick, man. She was really, really quick. I enjoyed that moment. What did you think of this opening match?
I thought it was a good match, and this is the best Sheree match, or Sheree, as you like to call her, match she's had. Best drop kick in the game, in which she just kicks you in the fucking face on that rope. I think people need to tell her, you need to chill with this shit. I'm tired of getting your cleats on my face. But Dakota Kai made her look good, and I'm happy that she lost, because her undefeated streak was too reminiscent of Asuka. It felt like they were doing the same thing over and over again. But solid match. I really enjoyed it. And Raquel Gonzalez, Eric, showed up in mid-match. She showed up to the arena mid-match. She was late as hell. If she would just showed up on time, she would have got Dakota's ass.
So do you think Dakota Kai knew that Raquel wasn't there? She was like, I need my match to be first. I need it to be first.
No one knows Raquel like Dakota Kai knew she was going to show up 20 minutes late. She knew she gonna show up late. Raquel can't get out of bed. She be sleeping, hit that snooze button. So she was like, make my match first, because Raquel gonna be late.
So Marcus,
but I can't wait till Dakota Kai whoop Raquel Gonzalez's ass and take that title.
So Marcus, it was something I was very worried about when I was watching NXT, and I said, man, I don't know who put their name on that rental agreement, but somebody was playing with fire, and that's when we go to Hit Row, Marcus. Hit Row decided to rent a U-Haul truck. They rented a U-Haul truck, Marcus, and decided to take a barrel put a fire in that barrel, cut a fire promo. And I get what they was talking mad shit to Legado del Fantasma, but then Swerve decided to pull out somebody's random ass luchador match. I don't know who wore this luchador mask. I don't know where this luchador mask came from, but he set that sumbitch on fire, and luckily they didn't blow up that truck with them in the back. Aesthetically, Marcus, this was a great segment. However, I just could not think about them renting the U-Haul with the sole purpose that we're going to put a barrel on fire to burn this random luchador mask.
To break all U-Haul agreements.
Yes. And Marcus, we've rented U-Hauls. There's not much that you can do. You're not supposed to put any combustible items in that back cargo. That's what it says in the contract.
First thing we're going to do, let's get a barrel and light it on fire.
Yeah.
Y'all going to pay for this. My first question is, U-Haul, man, was something burning in here? Nah, man, I don't know what happened. What's the giant burning circle? I don't know, man. It was like that when we got it. We didn't even use the dolly. All right? We didn't use the dolly y'all charged for, so y'all need to be cool. But all I could think about when they were doing it was how hot was Top Dollar. Not nada. That dude was burning up back there.
He was.
Taking his dice as he was in 3 or 4 or 7 different jackets as this fire was going on, this hot ass U-Haul truck in the smoldering humidity of Florida. And I was like, he has to be burning up. Like, Swerve came in with the idea of, I'm going to go shirtless because it's going to be hot as hell in this thing. And I'm going to burn somebody's drawers.
You know what, Marcus? The thing is,
that's what it looked like.
Marcus, Marcus, I didn't know Top Dollar was back.
Why I got these panties?
Marcus, I didn't know why Top Dollar was back there shaking dice. But the first thing that went through my head, I thought he was back there shaking policy seeds, not sunflower seeds, but policy seeds, because that's what. Because Top Dollar looked like a man that's gonna eat some policy. Like, what you don't know about this?
What is dice and policies?
I don't know what it was.
He was shaking. Dude was shaking though. That dude know how to shake. Oh, Ashanti the Adonis. Annoy you or not annoy you this time?
He's all right, Marcus, but I know who he is. I'm pretty sure he signed for the truck because if it went down, he was gonna be the one in trouble.
Okay, if you're Vince McMahon, are you firing all Hit Row and keeping Top Dollar still, or would you keep these guys together?
I think as a faction, it all works. And if B-Fab ever learns how to wrestle, because I don't know if she can wrestle or not, I think that she could be potentially the next breakout star in NXT. Just because she has her own unique look. Her and Top Dollar could be a tandem that can go long and far in WWE NXT and even to the main roster. Now, Marcus, since we're talking about impressions, here's
the question. More disrespectful, snatching somebody's chain or ripping the grill out their mouth?
Ripping the grill out their mouth, man. Because you don't put your nasty ass hand inside of my mouth. Yes, Marcus, I agree with Swerve. They went too far. Once he put his hands into his mouth, Marcus, I realized that my boy Santos Escobar went a tad bit. He crossed the line, Marcus. He did cross that line. You can't put your hand in another man's mouth. You just can't do that.
I just feel like the retaliation of burning that mask was not equivalent. Unless Santos come out, that was my daddy mask, man.
In
my house and stole my daddy's lucha mask and threw it in the fucking trash. Fuck you.
Or maybe we had a video package of saying that, that they were going through their bags and they were missing one of their luchador masks that they come out with, something like that. But instead
it was just like something I got off Walmart or Amazon going like,
no, that's one of those luchador masks that you get from Olvera Street down here in Los Angeles. They just have them all up there like, oh, I want a luchador mask that when you put it on probably smell like ass because you don't know where they was from. So Marcus, since we're talking about debuts and impressions, did you feel that Ilya Dragunov made a good impression to the NXT audience who may not be familiar with the WWE NXT UK superstar?
What was this?
You know how when he walks out, conducted his music?
Yeah. I thought it was solid. I feel like the people who are in that NXT arena knew who he was. Unlike that one time he was at TakeOver and everybody fought Finn Balor like, who the fuck is this guy? And why am I booing him and cheering Finn, even though he is the good guy in this scenario? Oh, I thought it was fine. I thought him and Pete Dunne had a really good match in probably one of the matches of the week or whatnot, and solid. I just wish Walter got more involved and just whooped.
Well,
he
walked out there, man.
I can't. He walked out there and he got his ass whooped. I want Walter to. I need Walter to stay in America. Okay, I need Vince McMahon to look at Walter and be like, "I'm giving you the bag. I'm putting you on Monday Night Raw, and you're gonna drop that UK title, and I never want to hear about it again. And you're my WWE champion, and I want you to slap the shit out of everybody that comes your way, whether it's Jinder Mahal or Drew McIntyre. You slap the shit out of them, because I want Walter Sheamus. Damn it, that's all I want."
I would say that Marcus, my new, you know how like I always take prime targets in NXT, people who I get behind and I support. Like when I was with Cameron Grimes before everybody. Marcus, new person I'm supporting right now. I don't know why, but Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are my new. I don't know what it is about them, but it's something about them that I like, and it ain't Mandy Rose be giving them advice. But
you know what you like about them? They have porn stars written all over them. They look like. They come out here and look like they own some drugs. She has her fake knockoff Marilyn Manson "Sweet Dream" song. But you know what? There is something to them.
Marcus,
more Gigi Dolan. Her friend,
JC J. Marcus, JC J.
JC J don't look like she got nothing.
She know Juicy J, man. She know Juicy J too.
Although Mandy Rose seems to think that this is her group. I don't know if this is what's going to work out for Mandy Rose. And I like the finishing move of her abdominal stretch bomb or whatever it is. But there's a lot of stuff where I'm going like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. And maybe that's not the key to keeping me on TV. Going like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I can't turn away.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's not, maybe not bad. It's just something that I'm going like, this is different.
Yeah, so Odyssey Jones defeated Trey Baxter in the NXT Next Superstar.
You know he was.
We saw that coming.
You know he was. You know what Vince is about right now. Vince went down there and was like, I need more Odyssey Jones, damn it.
So, Marcus, the only thing is if Duke Hudson don't choke this up, it should be Duke Hudson versus Odyssey Jones, right?
Who you rooting for?
I got to bet on Black. I got to.
This is where we differ.
But we differ in Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma, Marcus. We differ on a lot of things.
Yeah, but I'm going to differ, man. Normally I cheer for the brothers, the black man, and to see a black man prosper always give me motivation. But this time, Eric, I need that Australian Duke Hudson. It's very rare in opportunities when you get a man named Duke Hudson come into your life. Who smell like tobacco and whiskey, and he go
Marcus, Marcus, tobacco, whiskey, and regret. That's all that is. Like that's what he smelled like. It's right there in there. It's like he done made a bunch of decisions in his life, and each one of them he regrets.
He lived in a one-room apartment where the only dish he has in his house is an ashtray.
Yeah,
that's it. Man, that's the life he living.
Marcus. Can I tell you
Chinese food refrigerator.
Marcus, I'll tell you, that might be an interesting life to live. Tobacco, whiskey, and regret. I mean, just think about all of that.
Like, put that on a t-shirt.
Shit, you know what? Marcus, I'm going to put that on the title of this show because I like that much. Tobacco, whiskey, and regret. That's what this is all about.
That's Duke Hudson. Shit. And he has to fight Odyssey Jones. And honestly, I hope Duke Hudson wins. Odyssey Jones, who was like, Mama, I made it, and was slapping. He was happy. I enjoyed his energy and all, but Duke Hudson looked like that son of a bitch. He looked like the second coming of Wade Barrett, and just maybe, I can get that push that Wade Barrett had never gotten.
Marcus, based on tobacco, whiskey, and regret, I'm also putting my stake now behind Duke Hudson because you know what, Marcus, I need that shirt to be made. Just be it just. So, just a couple of small things to hit on NXT because I think I'm almost talking about the entire show, Marcus. LA Knight is now fighting for the services of the $1 Million Man, Marcus. This is where I feel like Baron Corbin should be brought into the picture where, Cameron Grimes give him that seed money to make sure Ted DiBiase is not under the control of LA Knight. But I don't know that won't happen.
Again, I'm going to say this. This storyline could work on any wrestling show currently right now. Whether it's NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Impact. This is, to me, this is the most pro wrestling story ever, in which we may get the dangling carrot is Ted DiBiase might become the slave. Have to have his own slaves for his whole life.
And Marcus,
we are coming full circle. And that's why I have to root for LA Knight.
Because Marcus, there's one underlying thing in life that we all know is human. Slavery is bad. There is no way to slice it that, hey, slavery might have been good. So the fact that Ted DiBiase, as you said, had lived a life with his own personal slave that he might have to slave away and help LA Knight, but that would free Cameron Grimes from his thing, it might work. And Marcus, thinking about what you said about me being a fan of Gigi and JC, you might be right. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they do remind me of the past. My favorite thing though, Marcus, all the people that lose in the NXT next Superstar Challenge always has to come back the next week and job out to somebody, which is always great to me.
Come job one more time for me. Mr. Gyro Inkman, come job out.
So let me talk about something that was very disappointing to me about NXT. Once again, we're having, I think it was 3 stages between O'Reilly and Adam Cole, Marcus. I think I'm tired of these guys. I think I want them to go their separate ways. I don't think I need to see them fight anymore. You being a big O'Reilly and Cole fan, are you okay with this for one more time, Marcus? It's like getting the band together when you know you've been washed up for a while.
I feel like this is the MJF Jericho storyline of NXT. In which I don't think I need this anymore. I know it's the undisputed end and whatnot, but let's end this shit.
We already fired.
We need to figure out what's going on with Adam Cole if he's going to the main roster, and we want to figure out if we're going to keep Kyle O'Reilly anywhere. But Manny had a hot take about these two gentlemen.
What was it, Marcus?
His hot take was Adam Cole going to the main roster and Kyle O'Reilly going to the main roster is the modern day replacement of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. A younger version of both of them. Hot take.
That's very accurate, but I think the difference is that I think Dan Bryan can talk better on the microphone than Kyle O'Reilly.
That's the same thing I said. But
it's funny. I think
Dan Bryan kicks his ass on the microphone.
I think we all agree that CM Punk is Adam Cole. There's no doubt about that one. It's like no one is going to dispute that. That's undisputed, as they would say.
Well, I believe Adam Cole might be the better talker, better looking man, and the better wrestler, CM Punk.
So the last thing that happened on NXT that I found more enjoyment than I should have was the date between Index. It was Dexter Lumis going on a date with Indy Hartwell, but the Garganos trying to be the parents and the responsible individuals that they are because they already lost Austin. We don't know where Austin's at, Marcus.
Naked in the woods somewhere. They don't know. Eric Austin is doing dark matches on SmackDown and Raw, and he is losing every single one of them, according to reports. Although Aaliyah is also beating Dakota Kai in these matches. Oh,
Marcus, Austin Theory right now strikes me as somebody who might be somebody high on WWE's list of trying to promote because he has a good combination of size. However, I don't know if his character being aloof and goofy works so well. I don't know if he can make it on his own if he has to be serious again, because I think this iteration of Austin is so much better than was before, and I think he has moved past whatever those allegations were about him, unlike our boy who shall not be named, the Dream.
Or you talk about Marty Scurll. He either what? Those two people didn't recover from this shit.
Damn.
They didn't get out of. Out of this well.
Wait, Marcus. Let's also remember Jimmy Havoc didn't recover either. I think he's working.
Havoc picture. Like
Marcus, I saw the Jimmy Havoc picture.
I almost cried.
I did too, man. Marcus,
as much as you hated Jimmy Havoc in the beginning, and then you grew to like Jimmy Havoc, you didn't wish this fate on him to become a delivery service driver and look like a normal man.
He a normal man. Mark, he had to take out all his piercings and the color in his hair to deliver boxes. I was like, damn, how the mighty have fought.
Man.
I don't think we need to really discuss the date. It was a funny date. It did what it is. Congratulations to the Garganos for, Candace being pregnant with their first child. That's always nice and whatnot. Damn, Jimmy Havoc. We had reports where Keith Lee finally broke his silence, and he talked about what happened to him, and he gave a story. And
I almost died.
Yeah, Marcus. So
if
for me,
it wasn't.
I felt bad because I listened to his video. I listened to the video, and it made me laugh when he says the first video was 16 minutes, and I was like, "No shit, Keith, you talk really, really slow." and you know,
spit it out, Keith.
And by the time he got done with his video, I was like, "Damn." I feel bad for thinking about that, but I was like, most people could have got this out in about 3 minutes. I mean, you could have simply said, I contracted COVID. Mia Yim took care of me. I had a lot of complications from the post-COVID where my heart became inflamed and no one could figure out what it was doing. Next thing you know, the company sent me to a specialist in Pittsburgh, and next thing you know, my heart returned to normal, and now I'm back, but I have to get back into shape. I mean, I appreciate him telling the story.
You summed that up in 30 seconds.
Yes, but you know what, Marcus? As you know, I do live with Shantae, and Shantae does tell a very long-winded story, like Keith Lee sometimes. You know, and she looks at me and she sends me the dirty eye. But she does give you all those facts, Marcus, all those factors of mitigation that you don't need.
So, you want her to cut out the fat? You want her to give me the abridged version of the story? What, you milking cows?
No, I was telling Shantae she needs to go because
milk the story.
Because it's an hour drive to get to Harbor Hyundai, and I'll be right there shortly behind her. Yes, Marcus, you got to milk the cows.
But I want to say, happy Keith Lee is healthy.
Me too.
Fuck everybody else that was talking their shit and all the random dirt sheet stories that came out and all the stuff like that. Just let sometimes it's serious. It's none of your damn business what people are going through.
And the thing that you remember, like the reports talking about that Vince McMahon has soured on Keith Lee and things like that. It was just so hard to believe, especially with Vince coming out talking about that he wants bigger stars and stuff like that. Keith Lee is everything that Vince wants in a big man.
He's still fat.
Yeah, but Marcus, if you have Keith Lee, you don't really need Bronson Reed.
No, Bronson Lee's old. He's about, like 30-something, short, fat. I can see why Vince McMahon cut him, to be honest. Once you go through the roster of all the people they have on NXT UK, NXT, and all this, you go like, I have several of these dudes.
So, Marcus, now we're going to turn
He can succeed anywhere else, but he ain't succeeding here. I'll take my money on Odyssey Jones, Keith Lee, Otis. I go that route.
So, Marcus, now let's turn our attention briefly to Monday Night Raw. You guys did cover this on Tuesday, but there's a couple things that stood out to me. Marcus, I want to know.
Don't fuck with Barefoot Charlotte.
Marcus,
that's what these.
Before we start your whole thing about Barefoot Charlotte, I want to ask a question because I remember you guys did ask a question on Tuesday. Has Randy Orton ever opened the show Welcome to Monday Night Raw? Because Marcus, I think you were under the impression this was his first time ever doing this. Marcus, did you ever come back with any concrete evidence that maybe he has opened it up before?
Eric, I did 2 seconds of research. That means I thought about it again and going, That was my research. That was the level of it. And going, nope, I don't think he did. I don't think he's ever said welcome to Monday Night Raw. I don't think he's ever started Raw happy. I don't care if he was champion or evil. This dude has never came out like this before in his life. And I knew he was going to kill somebody tonight. At that very moment, I knew I was dead.
For me, the thing about Randy Riddle have a great chemistry with each other. It's one of my favorite storylines going on in wrestling, considering that's even the shirt I decided that I was going to wear to the SummerSlam, even though that I know RK Bro is possibly dead after what happens, the RK Bro betrayal at the end of the show. But Marcus, I understand why Randy did it. Riddle needed to be RKO'd for so many different reasons. Am I correct with that, Marcus?
Well, he's Riddle. It could be for anything. He could just be showing up on his scooter, kicking his shoes off in the dove slide at his entrance. I would just fight you for that. But do you want them to fight, Eric? Or do you want them to team together? What do you want from these guys? Should they go after AJ and Omos? Because I think those tag team titles, man. I know Randy attacked them and all, but I think they should go after the belts.
Marcus, because Randy don't really have anything else to do, so I kind of feel like they should team together. But I think it should be this flawed relationship where Randy keeps abusing Riddle, but Riddle just doesn't go away. Like, it's like, you know, like, Randy, he'll come back next week. Randy, I understand why you RKO'd me, bro. And it's okay. Like, you know, like, Randy just can't get rid of him.
That would be his nightmare. Although, Randy, this time you better keep the damn mustache and the goatee look. I feel like this is a new Randy Orton when he did that. He's fresh now that he has the mustache and goatee look. He's eviler or he's nicer. I don't know. It aged him a little bit, and I think it's a good look. He kind of has that Green Arrow thing going on.
That motherfucker about to drop the dopest art piece in the world right now. That's what he's about to do. It's like he's like, I done made my Picasso. So maybe Marcus, somebody who deserves.
I feel like he only took time off to grow the mustache back.
Maybe. Marcus, let me tell you, someone who deserves to have flowers, why he can still receive them. As Marcus is almost falling asleep. We're almost done, Marcus. That's my boy, Sheamus. I'm almost falling asleep. My boy, Sheamus, Marcus.
You
Sheamus.
keep saying that, but I'm in the same mode I've been in all night.
Your eyes look like, you glossy. My boy, Sheamus, Marcus, he's putting good work. And I think Sheamus versus Ricochet for the championship contender match was one of my favorite matches of the week. I thought they really put on a good show. And this is the first time I feel like Ricochet is getting a chance in WWE. Marcus, do you think Ricochet can reach the heights that Nakamura did on SmackDown with this current upward trend that he's on right now?
He's not on an upward trend. This is Damian Priest storyline.
I know.
It has nothing to do with Ricochet.
He lost in the match.
There. Ricochet got his ass whooped.
He did.
Sheamus hit him with his mask a few times. Ricochet got fucked up. This is all about Damian Priest and Sheamus, who I think are going to have another.
That's going to be fun.
They already had their match. But, pay-per-view style. Probably going to kick off the show, to be honest. It's going to be on the kickoff show.
So, I mean, the pretty much the entire show was about Barefoot Charlotte, Marcus. This is what the Monday Night Raw was built around Charlotte. Nikki fought Rhea Ripley in a non-title match, and you know what? Fuck that shit. That shit ain't happening. It's. I think Charlotte is where the money's at, right? Rhea's not ready.
Yeah, she came out there in her very artsy outfit. I have no idea what that outfit is called, but whatever. She came out there barefoot, kicked people in the faces, and whooped all their asses. And I forget each time that this is a triple threat match at SummerSlam, even though I feel like it's Charlotte versus Nikki Ash. ASH.
Wait, it's a triple threat match?
It's a triple threat. Ripley's in this match.
Oh, I did not know that.
But you don't feel it. I feel like Charlotte's going to win here. She's going to win her belt back.
Interesting.
But, she can also lose it.
So, Marcus, the last thing that I want to say that, for me, kind of got me excited and made me intrigued about Monday Night Raw, Marcus, is the fact that I think Elias is being repackaged. He burnt.
You think? He is. I like that they gave up on Jackson Riker.
Marcus, we don't know if they gave up on Jackson Riker yet.
That motherfucker been missing, Eric, ever since that instrument match.
Marcus?
He won that.
Marcus?
And we ain't seen him. We see Elias several times already. Well,
Marcus?
we have seen him several times. We seen him in that one package.
Mark, let me point out something to you. He could be out with COVID. All signs could point out that he could be out with COVID.
Not that man. You know he vaccinated.
You also know that he wears a mask, Marcus. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. But are you intrigued about the repackaging of Elias?
I was more than intrigued because I was like, he needs to drop this immediately.
Because Boogs is doing
Elias
it better.
died and Boogs done stole it with his guitar. Elias has been stale since the pandemic because he had no audience to do his whole stick. And you know what? It was time to change up. Let's see what the man can do. Let's see what he can do.
I also like to believe in my head that he just got so fed up with his last match that he had the Symphony of Destruction match that he lost to Jackson Riker that he said, you know what? Fuck this music stuff. I need to be a man.
I'm going to be a man that fights.
So the last
with a sword.
The last thing that we have to do is that we need to read our email. And, Marcus, I'm sorry that I have to do this to you. However, if someone would like to email us, they can do that by going to the Sharpshooters at gmail.com. That's DA Sharpshooters at gmail.com. comment on the show. Let us know what you feel about our opinions about maybe wrestlers need to be larger than life to be profitable or something like that. I mean, there's so many different takes. I mean, it's just Marcus and I take when it comes to the situation. And I mean, I don't say that I'm right, but I just think I know for the overall audience, I think people like larger than life superstars. That what makes the, as Marcus said, the Rock and John Cena movies so popular right now. Yeah. So, email at us, comment on this video, like have some engagement with us. Tell us we're idiots. We're okay with that. Also, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to let us know that you like what we do on this network. So the email that we have is from, emailer of the century, Marcus, and Manny's not here to stop any ads. So we have, it's the guy that wrote the book about the AWO. He can send you on a trip where you want to go. He's an entrepreneur who wants to acquire wealth. It's the Dizman, folks, still in good health. What's really good, Sharpies? What's really good? To start off this email, I wanted to first say thank you for uploading the audio of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. It has made my work life so much easier and has increased my productivity at work. Now I'm in line for a promotion and a significant raise. Okay, those last two things were a lie, but I do appreciate it just to say.
Hey, it sounded good to me, man. I'll take it. I take credit for all that when people make more money. Like, yep, it was me. It was my inspirational words talking about Barefoot Charlotte and whatever other randomness, and the Sonny and Ike album that's coming to find us called Spite.
Marcus, the worst part about that is that you needed me to be on the show for that statement, because I don't know if Manny understands the relevance of Sonny Bono and Ike Turner. Like, it's those two dropping a track together. Just
Sonny and Ike. It's called Spite. It's called Spite and Betty. Spite and Betty.
Okay,
so I don't care about you, Cher.
So something that a lot of people complain about is that talent from yesterday keep coming back and take up spots that today's stars should have. My question is, what should today's stars be doing in order to increase their value? I don't know, because in WWE, the stars don't have as much control as they would like to have, unless you make it to that point where you can have control, like a Roman Reigns. I don't know what the stars of today can do to become more relevant. Marcus, what do you think?
It's something that you can't really teach. It's just be more charismatic. There ain't no John Cena's on that roster that is that charismatic. That dude was out there spitting. He was saying with passion. I believe every word he said, and I got behind him. The C Nation got behind them. You thought they were dead, but they just grew up. They back. And they stronger than ever. And, you got behind that man. That man was running for president last night. And I told him, that is my president of the United States. And he going to carry a blue belt everywhere he goes.
So let me ask this question, Marcus.
That's where I was at. And I think people need to be more charismatic to be more stars. And, and people always say they take more chances. If you do have the opportunity to take a chance at WWE, just do it. If you can make shit work, make it work. Baron Corbin is killing this bum-ass Corbin Gilbert. The people in AEW with creative control. Miro, who's back to, being a monster. Or I know you don't care for the man, but Malachi Black had his vignette this week in all black and white. He talked some nonsense about Cody. But you know what? The man did what he do. All right? Shit. So, I'm all for it. And the only person in WWE that's had really John Cena charisma in a long time, they just fired his name with Bray Wyatt. The man can spit.
He could. So, Marcus, you said that John Cena is your president. So you're trying to tell me if John Cena ran against The Rock for presidency, you're voting for John Cena?
I don't know, man. It's a battle of the debates. And, I think John Cena got him. The Rock is going to be all humbled and nice and shit. John Cena's coming with some cutthroat shit. Talk about San Andreas wasn't shit, and you need to stop being in the jungle in your movies. You done Jumanji, you done Jungle Cruise, San Andreas. These are all the same movies, Rock. These are all the same movies.
But Marcus, he could easily say that F9 ain't shit. F9 ain't nothing different from Suicide Squad. Just a bunch of mindless action.
See, that's where you differ. Suicide Squad was so much better than those Fast and the Furious movies. How dare you?
Well, Marcus, it's not my fault that Suicide Squad tried to have a story And shout out, rest in peace, Milton.
There was a story there.
It was a story, but Mark, it was a bad story. Come on, man.
It wasn't
You
bad.
know, Mark, you know that movie was 30 minutes too long.
It wasn't. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie. I was entertained all the way through.
Okay.
How dare you?
Let's continue with the email. He says, moving on, something that confuses me about WWE is where NXT is on the pecking order as far as on-screen is concerned. I mean, is it a development brand or a third brand? One year they dominated the Survivor Series. The next year they aren't even on the card. Not only that, but the NXT champion is on Raw, and Finn Balor wants to take the Universal title back to NXT. So what do you guys say NXT is? I can answer this question. NXT has always and will always be a development brand that got promoted to a war where they weren't equipped to deal with, to the point where Triple H lost, and now Vince is mad that AEW won that battle, and now they're back to being poo-poo. USA wanted a third hour worth of television. They gave them NXT, and NXT, I think it does good enough numbers for USA, but it's still not what they need it to be. Right, Marcus?
Well, they shouldn't have. The war that I thought NXT could have won, but then when you realize AEW has unlimited power when it comes to budget and money.
And Marcus, let's also
so much money thrown at it. You go, shit, I don't think we can win this.
And then let's point out, to be completely honest, the one thing that AEW has for them is that they go and they tour to different audiences. When NXT could not beat AEW when they were in the Daily Center, that tells me there was a problem.
Well, they were having a competition there. The pandemic hurt the battle more than for NXT than it did for AEW, because they had their dailies placed with the wrestlers at ringside, and NXT had that empty plexiglass arena with nobody in there. And I think if the war would have continued, I think NXT still was competing. I thought Vince may give them shit. They may have lost this war, but I thought for what they had and the budget they were working on compared to what AEW was doing, they fought gallantly.
So Marcus, what you're trying to say is that NXT was running a marathon. However, AEW was doing the sprint, and the officials changed it to a sprint. And so WWE's preparation for that marathon was just out the window. They were going to get them in the long run, but the race changed.
They were like, "Nah, it's a 100-yard dash."
It's like,
you
what?
Thought you were marathon. What? No. You said this was a. We had plans, and we were gonna wait for them to go over budget, and for Cody to attack one of the Bucks or something like that. We're playing a long game. Now I ain't got time for that shit. We're blowing shit up right now, and they lost, and Vince wants to do it. It's developmental, and Vince is gonna get the developmental he wants his John Cena's and Batista's. Damn it, he wants his grown ass mid.
You saw the guy that won the Olympic gold medal in wrestling sent a Twitter tweet out to Vince like, "Hey," at Vince event, he waved.
Good, Gable Stevens. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't see it.
JK says, "Could it be that NXT isn't canon to WWE in the long run?" Yeah. I don't think NXT's direction matches what the main roster direction has. I think they are on completely different opposite playing fields, in my opinion.
The only time NXT has carried over to the main roster in storyline and storytelling is one time, basically, and that was the Asuka streak in which she was undefeated. Because Vince loves him some streaks every now and then. It was like, streaks. What? I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to put her in Royal Rumbles and make that count as streak victories. And everything else, that was the one time it happened. They're not on the same page because it seems like Triple H has and Vince McMahon have a different philosophy of what they want wrestlers. Vince wants megastars and movie stars and giants larger than life. He wants Hogan's and Rocks and Cena's and Austin's, and Triple H wants, your Ric Flairs, your Shawn Michaels, and AJ Styles.
So, Marcus, do you think that in this world of professional wrestling that both visions can exist together?
In harmony? Yes. Together we can. Yeah, I think so. But, you got to pick a side, though. You can't be wishy-washy in the middle. You gotta try to make that money. And Vince is about making that money. And sadly, I think I'll team money, too.
All right, so
I need my OVW class back, my Sheltons and Brocks and Cenas.
So in the email, he says, finally, in your opinion, do you guys think there is room for improvement in the wrestling, or do you have to get it right the first time? I often heard you guys say about some people, I can't make money with this guy. Would you go to that guy and tell him, give him a chance to improve and become someone you can make money with? Or do you just ignore him? Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. And remember, motivational vacations and the AWO big time players. Later, guys. Signed, Adrian the Disman. Marcus, we have known to say this on multiple occasions that we just can't make money with this guy. Yeah. Marcus, I think the most
How many times have we been wrong? I would never admit that I've been wrong on like 90% of them. Be like, oh shit, they, Everrise, they came back.
Well, Marcus, I remember the most recent one I can remember you saying that you could never make money with somebody, and I will quote you verbatim, and you can fill in the wrestler who it is. I can never make money with a wrestler that wears booty shorts and stockings. I don't understand how I could ever make money with this individual. Marcus, who is that individual that you could never make money with?
Peter Pan? I know who it is. It's Darby Allin. And yes, I was wrong. Let me be wrong in there to be the first person. But there's part of me that feel like even if I am pushing Darby Allin and he has Sting with him and that animated vignette and he had all his fancy little artsy video packages and all that, do I feel on a mainstream level that if I put him on WWE program as is, that I can make money with him? Maybe a little bit. But I don't feel like I can make that real money. I'm talking about that wealthy money. I'm talking about that long-term money where everybody in their life is safe money.
No, so I just think that when it really comes down to everything, and I think we all have different tastes, and we have to accept that AEW will never be like WWE, and WWE will never be like AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor. Everybody has their own audience that they're appealing to. Let's take, for example, GFW, where they do the death matches. Like, people really enjoy that. Huh?
GCW.
No, it's GFW.
GCW.
Is it GCW?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I didn't know. Because you know why I don't know, Marcus? Because under no circumstances will I ever watch that. That does not appeal to me. I don't want to see that. It doesn't do it for me. And I think that we need to stop trying to make that one foundation of this is how it works. We just need to be able to say that, you know what, I enjoy this and I'm happy. And I think at the end of the day, the biggest problem with professional wrestling is that we have no more surprises because we as wrestling fans, we want to know what's going to happen before it actually happens and just let it happen. And I think that's one of the big problems.
Well, I think, the biggest problem with wrestling fans is that they don't know how to just enjoy what they're watching, or everybody has to pick a side. You don't have to pick a side. For what? Like, I feel like that's what killed the NXT for the most part. When people was like, oh, NXT sucks. Why? Because I chose AEW. For what? You're getting basically the same type of wrestling. So, like, you get the same thing you want. You're getting guys doing flips. You get that energy. You're getting more pro wrestling. You're getting less talking. They give you everything you want, but you had to choose a side.
But I
think wrestling fans need to stop trying to choose a side. Just watch the damn show. Or just don't watch the show.
But Marcus, I think you're correct in that assessment because we also have wrestling fans who've made that decision. I hate WWE. So even though NXT is a product that they would enjoy because it's underneath the WWE umbrella, they refuse to give it a chance because they hate WWE. So it's...
Yeah, even if it's 205 Live or NXT UK. Oh, I hate WWE.
It's almost very similar to...
Watch it.
To somebody that I know that they once said to me, I fucking hate Meryl Streep. I ain't gonna watch no goddamn movies with Meryl Streep in that damn movie.
Why you keep bringing some people up, man? You let those people live their life, okay? Let them live their life. But I watched this movie with Meryl Streep in, Eric? Answer that damn question. Marcus, have I watched a movie with Meryl Streep in
Marcus, I don't think you've watched any movies because you've been working so much, so I don't know what you watch or what you do, my brother. I don't know. But you will admit.
The answer is, I don't think I have, actually. I don't think I've seen
But Marcus, your hatred for Meryl Streep... Your hatred for Meryl Streep was that she was always nominating and always winning. He was like, that bitch ain't that good.
No, I never said she wasn't that good. Well, in a way, I do say that. I just say that she just gets nominated just to put her there. Like, you didn't even know Meryl Streep was in a movie this year. She'd be like, yeah, Meryl Streep nominated for 6 awards from 7 different movies. Like, when?
You know, I believe she did get nominated this year.
I want to do the test of tests. You put Meryl Streep in one of these Marvel movies and see if she get nominated. Because she's like, all of a sudden, Marvel movie got nominated for an award. What? Meryl Streep, Black Panther 2. It was fucking amazing.
Best supporting actress, Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Who was she? Yeah, she did some voice work. She was under Black Panther. She played a black man. She replaced what's his name? Chadwick Boseman.
Marcus,
we got Meryl Streep.
Marcus,
Black Panther.
I'm sorry to say, I think that's where we have to end the show, Marcus. I can't have Chadwick Boseman being replaced by Meryl Streep as Meryl Streep as T'Challa. Would be the most hilarious thing ever.
Don't do anything. She don't do anything different. There's no blackface, nothing. It's just Meryl Streep as T'Challa, and everybody in the world just accepted it. And then she get nominated for another award.
And then
what are you doing?
I'm about to eat
what are you opening?
My oatmeal, man.
The fuck you and this oatmeal shit.
That's why I said.
Be unhealthy like the rest of us.
Huh?
Be unhealthy like the rest of us.
I was last night.
That way.
I was last night. You know, and it backfired on me, man. It told me life was hard when I went to that wing stop and they didn't even put the lemon pepper on my wings, man. I was hot. Oh,
you got to go in there and throw the wings at them.
I should have, man, but I wasn't driving back because I had to watch Rampage.
Throw the wrench in their face.
But Marcus, ultimately,
bitch.
At the end of the day, Marcus,
get the lemon pepper on me.
I think what we all want, Marcus, in life, we want to live our life with tobacco, whiskey, and regret. That's what we come back to, Marcus. If I can have that life,
it's all about.
If I can have the Duke Hudson lifestyle, Marcus, everything is great. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode of me and Marcus being returned with, Manny being on assignment. I mean, when he chimed in earlier, he was 7 pints in. I'm confident he's at least 14 in now.
He's being carried and escorted out of a building as we speak right now. Shout out to Prince Manish.
Prince Manish.
Or God rest his soul.
One of them. Anyway, I'm Eric.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And I'm about to tear this oatmeal up because I'm hungry.
Tear that oatmeal up.
Until next week.
Actually, Meryl Streep of oatmeal.
Do we know if Manny's going to do a show on Saturday?
Wait, without us?
Yeah. Or maybe find somebody to fill in, or is he going to do a watch along and then call us on the Skype to chime in and say, yeah, we live here on location.
I'm live here on location, and I'm going to say, by me being on location, it don't change a damn thing. I always love when they put this person, we can send Johnny down there. Why? He ain't changing shit. He ain't got to stand there. As I get in touch with the real people here, you know what I learned on this trip? What? I ain't learned shit. These people feel like exactly what everybody else feel like. This is a travesty.
I did not need to be here to find this out. We
out here. He flew me out here away from my family. Y'all keep putting me on the road. Y'all keep fucking with me on this road now.
All reports led to hotels. We knew. God damn it, you got me living a life that all I do is tobacco, whiskey, and regret. That's what this job has led to, god damn it. Anyway, until next time.
I may have a kid in Cincinnati because y'all keep putting me on this road.
And guess what?
I don't know.
I don't regret that because that tale in Cincinnati was amazing.
Ain't nothing like Cincinnati tale. Ain't nothing like Cincinnati tale. Those girls are Bengals.
Marcus, that is how Duke Hudson talks, man. I know he does. Until next week. Or next time, stay sharp. We out.